Australia and Canada are two huge countries renowned for their pleasant and welcoming people. In this video, we'll be comparing the two nations separated by thousands of kilometers, yet share a remarkable display of similarities and differences that have shaped their identities. From the rugged wilderness of the Canadian Rockies to the sun-kissed shores of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Join us as we explore their geography, economy, and much more. Before you decide which one would be your go-to destination. But before we go any further, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a thumbs up to stay connected. Let's begin by looking at the geographic location. Both countries occupy vast areas of land. Australia is located in Oceania between the Indian Ocean and the South Pacific Ocean in the Southern Hemisphere, whereas Canada is located in the Northern Hemisphere, stretching from the Atlantic Ocean in the east to the Pacific Ocean in the west. Interestingly, Canada shares the world's longest binational border with the U.S. at 8.8 thousand kilometers or 5.5 thousand miles, with another border to the northwest between the two nations at the American state of Alaska, measuring 2.4 thousand kilometers or 1.5 thousand miles. Canada's geographic proximity to the United States has historically shaped their political relationships. On the other hand, Australia has no land borders with any other country. It merely shares maritime borders with countries like East Timor, New Zealand, and Indonesia. Check out the linked video about what are the alliances that shape today's map. Australia is known as the Great Southland or the Land Down Under, while Canada is referred to as the Great North. It's not just their immense landscapes and diverse ecosystems that earn them these titles. Their sheer size plays a significant role too. Not only is Australia the world's sixth largest country by land area, it's the only country in the world that covers an entire continent and the biggest island in the world. On top of that, Australia is also the lowest, flattest, and oldest continental landmass on Earth. It covers an area of 7.6 million kilometers square, including Lord Howe Island and Macquarie Island, which makes it slightly smaller than the US and 31 times larger than the UK. Zooming into the Great North Country, Canada is the second largest country in the world, with the first being Russia. It roughly covers an area of 9.9 million kilometers square and an array of various climates. Fun fact, the second largest country in the world has only half of 1% of the world's population. A visual comparison of the maps of the two countries reveals not much difference. Australia encompasses a wide range of physiographic features from the arid deserts to lush rainforests. It's surrounded by the Indian and Pacific Oceans with iconic landmarks such as the Great Barrier Reef and Ayers Rock, Uluru, showcasing its natural wonders. In contrast, Canada is renowned for its expansive wilderness and breathtaking scenery dominated by the rugged terrain of the Canadian Shield, Rocky Mountains, and pristine lakes and rivers. Canada boasts a diverse array of ecosystems, including boreal forests, tundra, and coastal regions along the Atlantic, Pacific, and Arctic Oceans. Did you know that 3 of Canada's Arctic islands, the Baffin Island, Victoria Island, and Ellesmere Island, are among the 10 largest in the world? Approximately 8% of the world's forest land exists in Canada. This translates into a third of its total size being compared by forests. Beyond any other country, Canada contains much of the world's fresh water with over 2 million lakes, in what nearly renders 7% of the world's renewable water supply. While much of Australia's interior is arid, the low average annual rainforest and high temperatures mean interior rivers are often dry and lakes empty. The headwaters of some waterways are located in tropical regions where summer rains create a high rate of discharge, so Canada wins this one. Which nation do you think has the longest seashores? For those who said it's Australia, I'm afraid it's not. The Australian mainland has a total coastline length of 35,000 kilometers. This is topped up by an additional 23,000 kilometers of island coastlines, which makes it the 7th longest coastline in the world, while Canada enjoys the longest coastline in the world with a total length of 240,000 kilometers, leaving the second rank to Norway and the third to Indonesia. Alright, enough about landscapes. Let's dive into something equally intriguing that can greatly influence one's preference for living in a country: the weather. Australia predominantly comprises arid or semi-arid regions, about 18% of its length identified as deserts, and other areas characterized by low rainfall and high temperatures. Only the southeast and southwest corners enjoy a temperate climate, while the northern part has a tropical climate consisting of rainforests, grasslands, and deserts. On the flip side, Canada experiences a wide spectrum of climates, from Arctic conditions in the north to warm summers in the south, characterized by distinct seasons. Winters can be quite severe, especially in the interior and prairie provinces, where daily average temperatures hover around minus 15 degrees Celsius, 5 degrees Fahrenheit, but can plummet below minus 40 degrees Celsius, minus 40 Fahrenheit, with biting wind chills. But did you know that in some parts of northern Canada, snow sticks around all year, and in non-coastal regions, guess how long the ground stays covered in snow? Almost half the year. Moving on to the key demographics, both countries have relatively small populations with respect to land size. The population of Australia counts up to 27 million people as of 2024, making it the 55th most populous country in the world and the most populous oceanic country. Whereas the Canadian population counts to 36 million, making up approximately 0.5% of the world's total population and ranking at the 38th most populous country in the world. Here's an interesting twist to the demography. Did you know that despite its vast wilderness, Australia is one of the world's most urbanized countries, with a whopping 89% of its population living in urban areas? But hold on. Canada, known for its rugged landscapes, closely matches Australia with an urban population of 81.8% as well. Seems like both countries have a knack for urban living amidst their natural wonders. Check out the linked video about odd distributions of population in some countries. Both countries are neck to neck in their population densities as well. Australia has an average population density of 3.5 persons per square kilometer of total land area, which makes it one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world, whereas Canada's density is 3.92 persons per square kilometer, which makes it slightly denser than Australia. But then again, it's in the same group. Both countries are marked for their multicultural societies and for being favorable destinations to immigrants. Canada also accepts large numbers of refugees, accounting for over 10% of annual global refugee settlements. Examining the economic landscapes of Australia and Canada reveals both similarities and differences. Both economies are relatively small, with similar economic structures and statistical systems. At $1.3 trillion, Australia ranks as the 13th biggest economy in the world, which is actually quite impressive given the size of its population. Quite similar to that, Canada stands at $1.6 trillion, making it the 10th biggest economy in the world after Italy. So Canada actually takes the win here. Mining, manufacturing, and agriculture account for a large portion of both countries' GDP, with these industries accounting for 21.5% of the Australian GDP and 21.8% of the Canadian GDP. Commodity exports are important for both countries, with Australia a large player in iron ore, coal, natural gas, oil, gold, and copper exports, while Canada has some of the world's largest oil reserves and is also an important coal and iron ore miner. Assessing the quality of life in these nations from an aspect of healthcare, education, and safety. Both countries have great healthcare services. Canadian healthcare is mostly free, while Australia operates a mix of free and paid healthcare options. Both countries have good schooling systems along with reputable universities. Canada is renowned for its universities and academic research, while Australia is known for its modern ways of education. When it comes to safety, Canada is usually seen as one of the safest countries. Australia is also very safe, with low crime rates and strong laws. Both countries are safe and friendly for everyone who lives there or visits. Now let's end this comparison by looking at the Big Mac Index. Wondering what that is? Let me explain. The Big Mac Index is a comparison of Big Mac hamburger prices across different countries. It helps us to see how strong or weak currencies are compared to each other. So if you decide to go to Canada and buy a Big Mac, it'll cost you $5.29. This is compared to Australia at $4.98. Finally, both Canada and Australia provide exceptional living standards, breathtaking natural scenery, and rich cultural diversity. However, there are notable distinctions that could influence your choice. Canada is recognized for its robust social welfare system, top-notch healthcare, and cosmopolitan cities embracing multiculturalism, while Australia is celebrated for its sunny weather and distinct wildlife. Now, as we wrap up, it's time for you to weigh in. Which country do you believe aligns best with your lifestyle, and which would you prefer to experience solely as a visitor? Feel free to share any additional comparisons you'd like to see in the mix by dropping a comment below. Thanks for tuning in to Tube Geo. Your support means the world to us. Remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe for more engaging content.